Okay, so we're recording. Welcome to this webinar, and I just want to start by thanking Tere Kampe, who's jumped on. He's traveling. He's somewhere in LA in a motel room at after 1 o'clock in the morning to do a webinar for us. So super grateful. And a little bit of background before we get started. It was now a little bit over a month ago that Terry basically got Australia started. We got a few people on a webinar. I think there were 2 or 3 people. Today, there's well over 1,000 people that have joined this in Australia. I've never seen such incredible growth in anything that I've done in my life. As a matter of fact, Australia is setting records around the world. No one can believe what we've done. So huge kudos. For those of you that are new that don't know what this is about, well, I guess you've got a good idea because you're on the webinar, but it's a little thing that you can just pour in your drink and it stops dieting. What if you never had to use the word diet again? Now, that's literally life-changing, game-changing for everybody. I mean, there's almost no one in the world that hasn't been on a diet, hasn't had lack of success on a diet, hasn't had the yo-yo effects of a diet. And here's something that can change the game for everybody. Not just can change the game, does change the game. And so Terry introduced this to us. He said, look, this is really explosive in the States. I said, well, gee, it's hops. And my wife, who's sitting right next to me, and I'll get her to talk in a minute, she's a naturopath for almost 40 years, and she's run a diet clinic for many, many years. And she said, well, hops doesn't work for diet. How can that work? And to her credit, she checked it out and said, I've never seen anything like this, but I'll just pass it over to you, Rob.
Hi there, everyone. That's absolutely true. I was.
You say happy birthday if you want to.
Thank you. I'm getting old.
Big happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, 63 today. So anyway, these new products going to make it reverse, I'm sure. Not that that's not that that's something that we're going to make a claim to. No, when I first heard about hops, and I have used it as a nervine in my practice, and I just had a few things that I would use it for, but never for fat loss. And when I heard that this is what the claims were for the matured hops extract, I had to look into it. I really just thought there's just no way, absolutely no way. But when I did my research, I listened to doctors, I read some PubMed extracts. About 48 hours, I turned around and said, this is the real deal. I had no idea. And let's run with this, Bill, because if this is truly what it is, and we'd looked at a few of the testimonials that had gone before in the United States, I said, this is going to change the world. This is not only going to change people's health, it's going to change people's just general well-being and lives, and it's going to bring through our program wealth. So very excited about what we've got to talk to you about tonight.
So without any further ado, I'll hand over to Terry and just so that you guys are part of the launch. We haven't even warmed up yet. We're taking this around the world, and we'll all link arms and do something that, look, you haven't even began to see where we're going yet. This is incredible. So Terry, without any further ado, over to you, my friend, and thank you so much for jumping on and doing this.
Man, that's whatever. Can I sign up right now? Let's just start. I mean, whatever. Everybody paid so much to get into this Zoom. I'll go ahead and do something, but there's really everything else is downhill from right there, guys. It's just been amazing to watch what's happening for the last literally. I'm kind of losing track. June 15th, whatever that was, a little more than a couple of months ago, but it was a month before that when so 3 months ago, we started to understand that God had dropped this massive blessing in our laps, and we were trying to wrap our mind around what it actually was, what it was really going to do, what it was. And man, we had really no idea at that point. We thought we did, and even the what we thought it was this is going to impact the world. Then people started to use it and we started hearing results. And then we started to realize, my gosh, millions of people will want this, millions, because of what it does for people, to people, in people. And it's literally been life-changing. And I mean, truly life-changing. I know some of these things I'm going to say are going to sound cliche. I know that because I've been around this industry for 53 years and I've heard people like me say things like I've been saying. And I've been going, wah, 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 because almost every time it was a bunch of hype. And what we found with this particular extract is something that literally can do so much for so many people. And so as I look back, I happen to be a pastor, and I look back at this and think, oh my goodness. So this extract has existed in the hops flower. So to Robin's point, she's been using hops for decades. A lot of people have. You can go read in the Bible. Beer is in there. Beer is made from hops. It's been used for a long, long time. And so as I believe, day 4 of creation, hops flower had this extract in it. And for 6,000 years, it was dormant. No one knew it. And then about 71 years ago, a company was able to extract it for whatever reason they did, and was able to successfully extract this one isolate. But the processing cost was about $1 million to ultimately collect 1 gallon back in the 50s. So they said, forget that. It's not going to be, cost effective to do anything with this. But they were able to run some trials on it. It looked like it had pretty good potential for visceral fat loss. Handful of other companies, 3 of them beer companies, because they're always using hops, went out and tried to do that same thing, and were successful at extracting the isolate. Problem is, the best of them, it was $500,000 to collect just 1 gallon. So no one had been able to crack the code. And about 10 years ago, our partner they're a pharmaceutical manufacturer, and they were tasked with finding a weight loss drug, because that's what they do. A lot of drugs out there, a lot of prescription drugs out there, a lot of weight loss stuff, because it's a thing for people around the globe. And so these guys knew, they went the pharma route, but they also knew of this research around this particular extract. And long story short, they started processing, but they could not break the code, just like none of the other companies could either. And one night, I am not making up what I'm about to tell you. One night, one of the scientists on the team goes to bed, and just as he's falling asleep, he gets this vision of a different way to potentially extract this particular isolate. And since they're not having any success like nobody else did, they decided to pivot. Several months goes by, and sure enough, they are able to extract this isolate at pennies on the dollar. And all of a sudden, about 5 years ago, the element that is in what we call fix becomes a potential for commercial availability for the first time in 6,000 years. And so now they go do their clinical trials, because that's what pharmaceutical manufacturers do. And they began to realize this stuff is rivaling weight loss drugs. And I want to be really clear for you guys tonight. We are not talking about weight loss. We are talking about fat loss. And anytime in your life you have ever wanted to lose weight, you have never wanted to lose weight. You want to lose fat. Everybody does. We don't want to lose muscle. So this specifically targeted fat. And we were like, oh my gosh, if it does that, everybody will want to do that. And in the beginning, the big deal was that this worked really, really well with alcohol. So I'm talking 3 months ago now, okay, when we launched this. Our big message was, you can lose fat while drinking alcohol. And people like, sign me up, I'm in. And we began to realize, though, as we started to get this into the public domain in the US, we were hearing all these different responses from people about what was happening in their body. And we're thinking, what are they talking about? This is for fat loss. Well, as time went on, it turns out we had a couple of functional medical doctors that had done research on this, not on the element, on what the element does in our body. And they'd been studying this for 40 years. And once they understood what this thing did in the body, they started to say things like, you have found the holy grail for fat loss. This is a breakthrough. You've broken the code. These types of things from people who know what the heck they're talking about. Then when I first reached out to Bill and Robin, they just told you the story with that. And even Robin was like, this is amazing. What this does in the body is amazing. And guys, it is way, way beyond visceral fat loss. Way. And so as we began to realize what we had uncovered here as a pastor, I am humbled and honored to be able to be the only company to bring this to the world. Like literally, God dropped this in our lap to be stewards of it, to go share this with the globe. And this is what we're talking about tonight. Now, I know that some of that might sound, like just some dude trying to sell, but I'm not. I have watched what's happened, and we are blown away. And once we got started in Australia, it was on. And so, because naturopaths tend to know naturopaths, and naturopaths tend to know a lot of people that are all about naturopathic kind of stuff. And so as the word started to get out, people began to quickly realize, because they knew what to look for. And all of a sudden, man, people's lives started changing in a bigger hurry. So this is what kind of the short backstory to what I'm going to share with you. And let me just share my screen here, and got some stuff happening. Let me get this done and walk you through what it is we have our hands on here as best I can tonight. Will not be long. And this is my bride and I, and Bora Bora. We used to be, this is where we met Bill and Robin. We were in a travel company that was tremendous. We had a great time. And we were traveling 130 days a year, making a pretty good 6-figure residual income, making friends all over the world. It was awesome. And it was never going to end, ever, because travel was never going to go away until one crappy day in March of 2020 when it all did. and all of a sudden, 4.5 years ago, our world completely changed. Everything we had built, worked for 10 years was gone in a heartbeat. And we were all of a sudden trying to figure out what the heck to do with our life at the time, 57 years old. And then for the next 4 years, probably a lot like many of you, COVID did a number on all of us, and it had a tremendous impact on us. And we had tried to do all kinds of different things. And it was, to me, it just seemed like God said, no, 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 no. And so I came across a company called Marketplace Global, which is what we're talking to you about tonight. And that was 2 years ago. And at the time, we had one product. It had nothing to do with health. It was a gas cap. And, they work great, but I was like, this isn't going to be the jam. But the guy that was talking to me, I had a lot of respect for. And he was talking to me about a marketplace that we were going to go put together, and where we could add any products in the world. We could just keep adding to our offering. And so I was thinking, okay, well, that could be pretty cool. But I just had, at the time, I didn't see it all that big. And I did absolutely nothing for 6 months. And we added a travel component, which was really, really awesome. I got to vet that myself. I've been around travel for a long, long time, 17 years. So I know what I'm talking about when I look at travel, and it's a phenomenal platform. We save a ton of money on our travel platform. So I'm like, hey, this is great. But it still took me another year, really up until the beginning of this year, before I really started to kind of engage. And for us, a lot of things that I was trying to do to create income, that just all got shut off. So when we met Bill and Robin, well, not met, we saw them when we went to Australia in January. We were going there on a cruise, and we spent a day with them, and because we got in early, and had a conversation on their boat about all kinds of things. Robin started mentioning some things that she had, and I said, my goodness, we need to package that. We need to roll this out to the world. This is going to be great. And on their boat, I realized, this conversation could change thousands of lives, and I believe that it would. Had no idea what it was going to lead to. And so the crazy thing, guys, is when we got back, I realized that all of the work that I had done last year to create income for this year, all the income wasn't going to get paid out. Doesn't matter, it was a government thing. Point is, we get back in February and realize I don't have any income happening at all. And we'd already been 3 years really struggling anyway after COVID and trying to make things work. And on top of that, we find out we get scammed pretty hard in a thing that we were looking at trying to create some income with, and took almost every dollar that we had in March of this year. And at that point, I'm like, what has happened? How did our life get here? And we started looking at work to go to work. And I've been an entrepreneur now for 15 years. My wife hadn't worked for 17 years. And the idea of going to get a job to pay in, just to try to pay bills wasn't great. It's not that it's bad, don't get me wrong. It's just not what we had planned. And so she decides, okay, she gets a job, and I'm just in April, guys, April. I'm trying to figure out what to do. So I'm thinking I got to get busy with Marketplace Global, this business. And at the time, we had the same products we had. And so we were really talking about the travel component because it was really, really good, but just not a lot of growth. And then through a lot of prayer, don't get me wrong, it was a lot of prayer asking, Lord, what in the world are you doing here? We need something, and we need something to fix this fast. And sure enough, in April, Fix became a potential for us. And so once we started to roll this out a month later and started to realize what this could be, we were going, wow, this could be the thing that could change not our life, but lives all over the world. And sure enough, guys, Fix is exactly what did that. And what Fix is about burning fat smarter, not harder. Now, look, most of the time when anybody wants to reduce weight, let's call it, you eat different, you exercise some more, a lot of discipline, probably cut out some alcohol, things like that, because it requires that, because your body wants to store fat to protect you for future energy, things like this. So you got to do things different, which is not a problem. I mean, it's wise to eat right. It's a good thing to exercise. Those are great things. But a lot of people have to do more of what they do to lose weight. So this little guy comes along, and all of a sudden, all of the clinical trials show that without any caloric restrictions, without any exercise, people are still losing fat by dropping this into a beverage. It was crazy. And so when people started to hear that, they're like, wait, what? That can't happen. But that's exactly what happened. This thing has never, ever existed before, guys. In the history of the world, has never been available to humans. And we are the only company to have it in the world. 100% natural. It's gluten-free, vegan. Here's the big deal. There are zero side effects. No side effects. It's odorless, tasteless, colorless. You can put it in anything. You can give it to a 2-year-old, no issue. Once they realized how to do this a different way from everybody else, they patented that process, or it's patent pending. And so that no one will ever see how that process goes. And then we are the ones that are bringing it to the world. And you can pop this in any kind of beverage. It just so happens to work especially well when you combine it with adult beverages. And so we have a lot of cool things about this, but why this is so revolutionary is because it does what nothing else. Well, there are 2 other things in the world that you could do to create this response. And I'm going to explain what one of them is. So when you shiver, as an example, there are a lot of people that are talking about cold plunge right now. You get in an ice bath, getting that ice bath is going to be fantastic for you. And what happens when you jump in those ice baths? Your body temperature plummets. Well, your body wants to save your life, so involuntarily you begin to shiver. Well, when you shiver uniquely, you're burning 400 calories per hour. What's happening is your body is trying to warm you up. So it activates something called brown adipose tissue. And when it does that, it sends a signal to the brain, goes back to the white adipose tissue. So the body starts to heat up or activate the burning of the white adipose tissue, the belly fat, the visceral fat that hangs out around our torso. And in that process, it creates heat, but it's taking the energy from the bad fat, the stuff we're always trying to get rid of. That's the amazing part of shivering. What is so cool about Fix is it does the exact same thing without the shivering. And one snap will last up to 9 hours in the body. So you're getting a thermogenic response. And don't be thinking, heart palpitations and shakes and all that stuff. It's not that kind of a thermogenic response. This is not a drug of any kind. This is something that activates the body's God-given ability to do what it needs to do to keep you or make you healthy. That's what this thing does. Just on an aside, the other thing you can do to create that same response is eat red hot chili peppers for a bunch of hours. And if your stomach lining will survive that, you'll get the same response. Or you can just drop this in your favorite beverage, either way. So those things all do the same thing in the body. So you can drop this in coffee, orange juice, iced tea, soda, water, anything you want. As it turns out, it works better when you pop it into scotch or whiskey, mojitos, shots, white wine, red wine, beer. It doesn't matter what you put it in. And the fact that you can pop this in beer just like that, this is exactly how it happens. Just squirt it right in there, and all of a sudden you get transformation, body transformation in a snap. That's as simply as this gets. And so when people started to see this and realize, is this really real? And they get to that point, it's like, it's fun to talk about. It's sexy. It's simple. It solves a huge problem in our world. And again, we are the company that is bringing it to the world. And ultimately, guys, we're going to be global. So right now we're in the US, Canada, Australia. We just opened South Africa and Botswana. That's going to lead to the rest of Africa. Right behind it in September, we've got the UK, Philippines, the rest of Europe, the rest of Australia, and then the rest of the globe after that. So literally, this can be a global phenomenon. I had a dream the other night that this has become a good epidemic, meaning people were seeing people with fix, like at a restaurant. Oh my gosh, there's some people over there. They got the fix. Let's go talk to them, because they want to get fixed. And so this was happening. It's all over the news. It's on advertisements, social media. This was in my dream. But I personally believe that this is going to be something like that, that millions and millions of people are going to be utilizing for their health. As a result, there's a great opportunity for wealth that goes along with that. And right now we are so far at the beginning that there are going to be people that become, I mean, I won't say billionaires, but I mean, there's a lot of money to be made here. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. But that's the health piece of what this is all about. Now, the wealth piece, I'll be done here in about 5 minutes after I walk through this piece. We have a two-team system. So when somebody looks at this and says, hey, I want to be part of that, let's say you want to be a connector with us, we have a left and a right team. Everybody's got two teams. Everybody's on the left, everybody's on the right. It does not matter. It's just people that we share this with. And as you start to share this with other people, ultimately anywhere, every time somebody joins, you get a $40 bonus. Thank you so much for connecting your friend to us. And so let's say you go out and you share this with two people. You put one on your left and one on your right in this example. You've made $80 in those direct commissions. There's also something called a team commission, and you've made another roughly $20, and now you've got about $100 in your pocket, $100 cash. And then everybody else that joins after number one or two on that team has to go on either number one's team or number two's team. They just have to go on one or the other. So as more people come in, they get placed underneath one or two. In this example, let's say you put two more in yourself. These are personals, people you personally connect, and you're looking at about $200 cash money in your pocket. And this will go on. This will continue to infinite levels forever. It does not matter where the people live. Ultimately, right now we're in specific countries. We will ultimately be in all 200 countries and territories. And so we're in the process of doing that right now. And so you can just start to imagine it might be people just in Australia or the US or Canada or now South Africa, as people are starting to put people in. But literally they can be anywhere in the world. It doesn't even matter who puts them in. It could be somebody who was in before you that's putting people on your team. all counts for you. All the volume forever counts. And as people buy things for themselves, this or any of the other products that we have, that creates volume. That volume turns into income for you. And to help you understand what that looks like, with about 50 people on each team, not 50 that you have put in, 50 that show up. Okay, not this is the team, everybody. It could be some people you put in, some people your friend puts in. Then it could go off to other countries and people join from other countries. All counts for you. And with 50 people on each team, you're looking at about $700 a month US. It's probably about what, $1,000 a month Aussie. And as the teams grow, so does the income. And this you can make $100,000 a week in this comp plan, guys, literally. And so so this is a massive opportunity because we are so far at the front end of this. We just got started, what, 5, 6 weeks ago in Australia. I mean, think about this for just a second. And already more than 1,000, we're coming up on 1,500 people that have joined just through Australia in about 5 to 6 weeks. That's going to become 10,000 in no time at all. Next year, that's going to be 100,000. The year after that, we're going to be at 1 million people that have joined. And understand, you are at the very front end of that. So as these people join your teams, you can see the incomes that you're looking at there. This is going to be, that's what I'm saying, guys. This is life-changing in a whole lot of areas, whether it's your health or your wealth. Either one, this will work for. We have all the systems and tools already in place. All the training is done. We have just an amazing marketing system that connects you to other people. So literally, we've taken all of the scary out of even approaching people with this. So because it is what it is, because this guy is what it has leveled the playing field, and our systems and tools allow us to scale really fast. So we can go very fast without any hiccups because our back office systems are 20 years old. Even though we've been around too, our back office has been around for 20 years, because our CEO has other companies that he's used it for. And because of that track record, we also have a global e-wallet. So people get paid in US dollar, but you get to convert it to whatever currency you want and get paid out in that. So literally, guys, all of that stuff is done. So if somebody wanted to join, as it stands today, in the US, it's almost $30 to be a rep. However, in your world, $10 US does it, $9.95, and you are a rep with us. You are in business with us. And we have a 72 snap kit, and it's $200. And so for about 210, I convert that to Aussie dollars. It's, I think, somewhere around 240 or something like that. I think you are in as a rep and or a connector, as we call it. And you can then start to share this with other people. And ultimately, like I said, all over the globe. But it's not just you, it's the team. And as that team grows, and we are growing really fast with the Australian team, and that means that everybody on here has the ability to grow very fast as well. And so we're looking for people that are ready to take action now, people that want to change their station in life. For us, I mean, I look back, it was not a fun 4 years in any way, shape, or form. I would much have preferred that everything just kept going and we kept traveling the world like we were, and growing that to hundreds of thousands of people on our team in that particular endeavor. But that was not God's plan. Again, we all got hit in certain ways. But watching how fast this has changed lives, and fast is an understatement. Changed life is an understatement, you guys. You have no idea, if you're on here for the first time, no idea of what this can do in the lives of people. So I want to have just a couple of people share very quickly how this has impacted them. And there's a bunch of people on here. We could be here for an hour just listening to the people and how that's changed their life, literally, because of how profound this has been. But on our first Zoom ever, what was that, 5, 6 weeks ago, Bill and Robin, probably on the 16th or so of July, there were two other ladies on that particular Zoom, and one was listening, one was not. But both ultimately got there and said yes. And so I want to have first Leanne Carpenter, are you able to unmute yourself and just kind
I
of share
am.
with these guys what has this what have you seen in this for yourself and how has it impacted your life?
It's I can't explain it. I have never seen anything grow like this so fast. And I guess the thing is, it was a no-brainer for me when I said yes, because it was a viral product. It was natural. I was looking for something like this, and you just drop it in your drink. And the thing is it sells itself. I don't even go into sell mode. I just give people the information that they need. And like Terry said, we have over 1,000 people in Australia that have joined us. And I am so grateful to Bill and Robin for sharing this with me, and Terry, for you getting up all these hours of the morning supporting us, because I was actually looking to go back to work. I fractured my hip last year and I hadn't been working for 18 months. And I was applying for jobs, but not anymore. So the income that's coming in, I don't need to. And so it's changing my life. And I'm so forever grateful. And I can't wipe the smile off my face, to be honest. I'm super grateful. And, we're just open South Africa. And then it's like next country, next country. So if anything is an indication of what happened in Australia as for a country launch, if you're not in this, guys, and you're in another country, position yourselves now and just wait for fix to come. That's all I would say. So thank you.
Thanks so much. We got a fire alarm going off at 1:30 in the morning at the hotel. Great. So okay. All right, we're good to go. False alarm. All the people sleeping in the hotel are going to be really happy about that. All right. Thanks so much, Leanne. Apologize for the start that I had there. But that's awesome. This is what we're talking about, guys. All kinds of different lives being changed in all kinds of ways. Everybody's different. Lillian, Riki, jump on here. Lillian, again, she was the one that she was the other one on the Zoom that night. And literally, guys, so we have, let me just hang on 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 14 ranks in our company. Okay, 14 ranks. And this young lady, that same night that Leanne was on, joined, and in the next day is going to hit the 10th rank out of 14 because of her participation in this. The growth has just been stunning. So Lillian, come on here and tell these guys, how has this impacted your life, young lady?
Oh my gosh. By the way, I was the person who was not listening on that first call.
Yes.
I was on just to be polite because Robin had invited me, but I already said no, thank you. I already have 3 businesses. I'm busy enough. Thank you, Robin. Sounds interesting. I'm interested in fat loss, but no, thank you. But I got on just because I love Robin and respect her, and I just wanted to, just listen while I was cooking dinner and stuff. But anyway, whatever you said that intrigued me, Terry. First of all, fat loss, that's something we're all interested in, right? And particularly for us, menopausal women, it's a huge thing. And I know if Robin had checked it out, then, that was reassuring. But I also had my naturopath son in the background whilst I was cooking dinner, listening to everything that Terry was saying and researching, like he had about seriously 6, 7, 8 tabs open at the same time. And he was researching this stuff as fast as he could because, yes, he, like Robin, he understands about hops, but did not understand about the bitter hop flower extract. And when he started researching, he went, wow. And since then, he's done about another 20 hours of research, just incredible. And now he has a very solid understanding of why this is so powerful. So for me, I have been in the network marketing direct sales industry for over 30 years. Actually, I first started when I was 19, but I started seriously 30 plus years ago. And I have been very successful and reasonably successful in quite a few companies. And I've never, ever experienced anything like this. Like I think it's just gone 6 weeks, Terry. I joined on the 18th of August, so it's a little bit over 6 weeks ago. And just climbing the ranks, and not only that, seeing people in my team go diamond and double diamond, and I'm just about to maybe do 2 ranks almost together, the next 2. So it's looking like that's going to happen. So it's just absolutely I can't tell you how amazing it is. And like Leanne said, it's not hard. I think I reached out to my first few people, my first close friends, and said, hey, and they trust me. And, they said, yeah, I'm in. But from there, it's people are coming to me, and I'm not even having to follow up with people. Like when I look in my back office and see all the people have joined, I'm like, oh, who was that? Who was that? Like just so many people are joining, and I can barely keep up with getting information to people because people want this. A, they want the product. B, if they've got even the smallest bit of an entrepreneurial spirit, they know that this is going to be huge. And what's happened in Australia in 6 weeks, guys, I tell you what, I'm excited for me and my family because we've had quite a roller coaster financial journey in the last few years, like many of us have. But I'm so excited for you guys. I'm excited for the people who have given this sort of a business a go before and have not been able to succeed, but are succeeding here. I had a call with one of my team this morning. She's joined me in 3 other businesses and never really got in any of them going. And she said, Lillian, I can't keep up. I've got so much interest. It's so very exciting. So whether you're jumping on tonight for your own health benefit, that's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. But if you have the smallest bit of entrepreneurial spirit in there, guys, position yourselves now. It's already huge, but it's going to be, what's the next? Yeah, it's just going to be amazing. I'm so excited for the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. It's going to be, yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amen.
Just
Amen to that. I keep trying to picture 2025 and I can't grasp how big it's going to be by even 2025, guys. We're talking a handful of months away. And like I said, thanks ladies for sharing it. We could literally go on for, I'm not kidding, an hour with the people, just the people that are on here with what's happening. I would love to be able to share with you the incomes that people are making, but we can't do that. And all I can tell you is that it's changing people's lives in a very, very big way. And if you're up or open to having your financial life changed or your health, I don't know what kind of health issues people have, but again, I can't even start talking about all the things, all the ways it's helping people's lives because in our world, we have these bunch of 3-letter agencies that would really like to shut us down. Because in our world, none of them get a cut of what we're doing. They dislike that. So we need to be very, 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 very careful in how we do what we do. So I'm going to leave it with, if you trust your friend, if you've seen anything here that looks good, get back with your friend, let them know because getting started will change your life.